The Alp is a pale and haggard creature. It encroaches on settlements in the cover of night, invading the sleep of its helpless inhabitants with ghastly visions, and feeding on the fear and anguish of its victims like a parasite. Scholars speculate that Alps didn't always look and behave like they do now. Most Alps have eye sockets, but no eyes, and mouths with teeth, but only a rudimentary digestive system. Their pale skin feels like old parchment, and their bones are frail, and their insides are dark and show signs of decay. Perhaps the Alp is a victim of an ancient curse, or perhaps it simply evolved from a different creature to the nocturnal predator it is now. Whatever it is, don't fall asleep. Welcome, everyone, to a D&D conversion of the Alp from the wondrous turn-based strategy game Battle Brothers. The Alp is an aberration that I've used against a level 4 party, but I believe that it can scale very well against higher level PCs. Alps roam in small to medium groups of 3 to 6. They attack from range, so they like to ally themselves with beasts such as wolves, who can trap adventurers in melee. The Alp stat block is strange, especially for those who don't have the context from playing Battle Brothers. They have a pitiful 9 armor class and only 32 hit points, but with some relevant damage reduction, their effective HP is actually much higher. Alps are immune to psychic and poison damage, and they resist pierce and necrotic. Furthermore, Alps have 2 features that reduce large amounts of damage coming from range. Magic resistance grants them advantage against all saving throws against spells. The feature, existing partly in dreams, gives a 50% damage reduction to all range damage, spell and physical. Inherent resistances. So a longbow would do quarter damage, resistance to pierce, 50% DR ranged, and succeeding on a save against fireball would also only deal 1/4 the damage. Half on save, 50% DR spells. These resistances will mean that players are behooved to engage Alps in melee. However, Alps have their own way to escape melee attacks too. The feature Fade allows all Alps to teleport up to 15 feet away when any one Alp takes damage. If you don't like this ability, an optional ruling is that if an Alp takes damage, it and any other Alp it can see must teleport within 15 feet of an enemy. This second ruling is more true to the Battle Brothers mechanic, so you can choose whichever suits your party best. Alps typically don't use their walking speed until they retreat. It should be noted that Alps exact no zone of control, which means no opportunity attacks. The Alp has 2 actions that it can take, Induce Sleep and Nightmare. Based on your party's level, I consider the numbers on these abilities to be very fluid. An Alp can take 2 actions per turn, but they must be on different targets. Induce Sleep requires one target that the Alp can see with its 120 feet of blind sight to make a wisdom saving throw or fall unconscious for the next 2d2 turns, and these are additive. I looked at my party's wisdom saving throw mods and chose DC 17. Induce Sleep should be likely to work against the heroes, or else this encounter is laughably easy. Nightmare is the Alp's damaging ability. It must be used against an unconscious target that another Alp put to sleep. Looking at the party's wisdom scores, I chose the damage to be 25 minus wisdom score, untyped and hence irresistible. So if your monk has 18 wisdom, she will take 7 damage per nightmare. With 29 HP, she can take 4 nightmares and still live. Pick a number that will down your heroes and no fewer than 3 nightmares, with around 4 being preferable. Remember, taking damage wakes up a target, so PCs won't be sitting unconscious too much unless the initiative order is really against them. Furthermore, a PC can wake up another PC with their action, disallowing an Alp from using Nightmare on them. A Paladin can make these nightmares much less frightening. I made my Alps CR4, worth 1,100 experience each. Plus, my party got experience for the wolves that I threw at them as part of the same encounter. You can adjust the CR of your Alps as necessary. For loot, each Alp has a 20% chance to drop a soul splinter worth 80 gold pieces. Additionally, I had my PCs return some parts of an Alp they skinned to the local tanner, who crafted a magic item, the Petrified Scream. The Petrified Scream is a rare wondrous item that requires attunement. Upon attuning to the Petrified Scream, you gain the following benefits. You have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. You gain +2 to wisdom saving throws against aberrations. You cannot magically be put to sleep, similar to how elves work. In my campaign, Alps were invading a small village with nightmares. The party arrived at the end and met a man bent on finding out what was causing his wife and daughter so much strife. The party joined him for a watch on the streets, but unfortunately for the man, he dozed off, and an Alp sucked the soul right out of him. Giving chase, my party fought the Alps in a nearby swamp. I believe that it's important the party sees how the Alps work before the fight begins. That way, the Alps' anormal abilities don't come out of nowhere. Alps seem like a save or suck monster, but that's mostly the case when players first fight them or don't see the tactics to counter them. As a Battle Brothers veteran, I know that the party should stick together and use their actions to wake each other up, so that the Alps can't teleport that far away and are unable to single out any one PC. You could drop these hints as insight checks mid-battle if your players are struggling. If they face Alps again, the players will definitely fare much better. With that in mind, I wish you luck in using Alps in your D&D future. I've linked the stat blocks below in the description. They will offer quite the unique fight, and the Petrified Scream could be an invaluable item depending on the monsters you fight in your campaign. And if you haven't played Battle Brothers, I will always recommend it, as it is one of the best strategy games I've ever played. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.